Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm a little later than I usually am. I was traveling all day today. My background's a little different because I am not home. I am in Bayfield, Wisconsin, visiting with a cousin, and it is really lovely here, but I will still be grading your discussion forum questions tomorrow, and I'll have them finished by Tuesday. So the work never stops, even though the vacation starts. This week, we have finished talking about ethics. We're not really finished with ethics. It's going to be an underlying theme through all of the weeks because ethics is underlying through all of business. I appreciate those of you who looked at the video on what would you do and your insights and your ideas. I agree with you. I would have given the money back. It's just my firm belief, and this is just my in my heart that I'm not willing to risk eternity for some money. So that's the depth of my belief. It is the right thing to do to give it back. But if you have not watched the video, watch it. It's really interesting. And it is all staged, but it's all, it's for entertainment, but just to see how people react. The other thing that we've talked about is ethics within an individual organization, your organization. And I provided you with some information about the Malcolm Baldrige Award. At one point in time in my career, I was a Louisiana Quality Award examiner, and I also taught examiners. So I know the Baldrige criteria quite well, and that was one of the key things we looked for. And at that point in time when I was doing it, we called it customer focus and corporate responsibility. So it's really interesting to look at that. Ethics will follow you through your whole life and your whole career. And I hope that when you do have an ethical dilemma, that you'll think back on what we talked about and what you've learned and look at the decision making through that lens. So let's talk about Unit 6. This week, we're going to talk about marketing, and these are the objectives that are on your main page. We're going to talk about how important marketing is. We're going to talk about the 4 Ps of marketing, how it creates value, and looking at the real value of a product or service. You guys have done a lot of this work already in Unit 4, so you're building on that, another layer, talking about marketing. You are going to read and review your readings and resources, always. Actively participate in the unit discussion with how many? 4 responses. 1 to me in the initial response, and then 3 minimum to your peers. You guys are losing 1, 2, 1, 2 points for not responding to your peers. You're given 2 responses, maybe 1 response. Those are good points that you could earn very easily, and they may make a difference at the end of the course. You might say, oh, it's only 1, it's only 2, but it adds up after a while. If you would like feedback on your Unit 6 assignment, some ideas coming in, post them in the peer review forum. And for those of you who decide that you want to or you don't want to post, check to see what your peers have done. You might learn something from your peers and be able to share, make that connection. You're going to complete and submit your assignment by next Sunday at 11:59. And next week, and this is a heads up, you have a quiz coming up, just like the other one, 10 questions on Units 5, 6, and 7. And you have a mini assignment on accounting. I'm going to talk about that again at the end of the video. So let's talk about Unit 6 discussion forum. So they give you an introduction. We've discovered marketing and its purpose. 3 things you're going to do in your initial response. You're going to provide an overview of marketing and your understanding. So you're going to look at the resources and you're going to cite 1 or 2 of them, and put your own spin on what you've learned from that. How did you interpret it? How did you apply it? How do companies use marketing to create value for their customers? And then 3rd, a product that you use regularly, and describe how the company has created value for you. So you are going to have 3 paragraphs in your initial response with citations. So that is what I'm looking for you to earn full credit for your initial response. And when you look through the rubric and it talks about course connections and critical thinking, that's what I'm looking for. It's going to get a little harder every week because we need to learn and grow as we move along. Your assignment. So you will be discussing your plan to market your business and your sales strategy, the 4 Ps of marketing, and examining the demographics. And you guys have already started that. You've got a good foundation laid on that. You've started looking at some census material and information about businesses in your area, particularly in the industry you want to start your business in. So with this, you are also going to talk about how to best market your organization. This paper should be 2 to 3 pages in length, cover sheet, reference page, using APA format and guidelines. You should have 2 to 3 references for this portion of the paper. That is the second place a lot of you are losing points. Is in the last paper, it called for 4 to 5 references, and I got maybe 3. And the references need to be pertinent to what you're talking about in your paper, not something that's inconsequential to what the content of the paper is about. So the 4 P's of marketing. We have product, place, price, and promotion. Here's an example. So I tried to stay away from anything anyone was doing in the class. I made up my own example. So let's say my product is Magical Time Travel Journeys. Made this up out of my little imagination here. So my company will allow you to go on a time travel journey through whatever area you would like to visit through magic. And it sounds kind of silly, but this is just a fun example. So let's say you wanted to go back to see them build the pyramids. We would take you there. Let's say you wanted to go back and watch Jesus walk on water. We would take you there. Let's say you wanted to go back and see Leonardo da Vinci try out his flying machine. We would take you. So that's what my company's about. The place, it's a virtual office. I will communicate with my customers through email, phone, or video chat. The price, now that depends on the journey selected, so I would have to make this part up. But I would have to also talk about commission. Commission is paid for by the travel provider company. So let's say I was networking with several companies, they would pay me the commission, and that's how I would earn my money. But I would have to sell the product to the customer. And I got that information by Googling and looking at how travel agents are paid and how Disney pays their travel agents, which is, by the way, 10 to 16%. Promotion, I would use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and I might have a special discount system for returning customers. So you see how I laid out my 4 Ps? Very simple. Here's a hint, strong hint, very, very, very strong hint. In your paper, give me a subtitle, a subheading that says product, give me a paragraph. Give me a subheading that says place, give me a paragraph. Give me a subheading that says price, paragraph. Give me a subheading that says promotion, paragraph. That is what I need to see in your paper, and it makes it easy for me to read, it keeps you on track, and it's easy to grade. And that's important because if I have to dig for something, it makes it harder for me to give you those points. So I hope you like my little example. And think about where, if you were time traveling, where would you really like to go? So my final thoughts on marketing. Don't find customers for your product, find products for your customers. And this is Seth Godin, who we've seen several videos from Mr. Godin over the last few weeks. So just a thought. Don't find customers for your product because who needs a better buggy whip? We have cars and we have planes. And that's always the example we use. Companies in the turn of the 20th century, right? 1900 or so, were making better buggy whips, but that was the time that automobiles were coming out. So that's what you want to do. Make sure you find products for your customers. Find the customer's need. Now I'm going to flip over to Unit 7 for a second. Unit 7, the accounting assignment. Do not stress about it. It is a spreadsheet. All the information's on the spreadsheet. I have a video made to show you exactly how to do the assignment. So don't stress about it. Everybody should earn full credit for it. If you watch my video and you follow my example, you will earn 100% of the points available. So if you have any questions this week, reach out to me. I'll be available. I'm just hanging out, just having a good time. But I will be available to you. Call me, text me, send me an email, and I will be in touch with you. I will be grading your Unit 5 discussion questions tomorrow and Tuesday, as I always do. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care.